All right, so my video cut out on me at the end there, so we're going to have a few different videos, which is no problem. So let's look at number 4. It says, Mrs. Lewis has 75 1/100ths of a dollar. Okay, so 75 1/100ths. Mrs. Winston has 8/10ths of a dollar. How much money do they have all together? Well, we know what that word means. We know we're adding. But, just like in the last problem, we know our denominators are not the same. So we can't add yet. So we're going to bring this fraction down because the denominator is already 100. So that one's going to stay the same. But, what are we going to do to this one? Well, 8/10ths is equal to 80. So I add and I add. And look at that. My denominators are the same. So now I have to decide, okay, what's 75 plus 80? I can do it right here, right on my paper. Okay? And I know that I get 15. So I got 155. You have to figure out which one of these shows that with the decimal in the right place. Number 5. The chart below shows how far 4 friends ran in the Charlotte Marathon. Oh my goodness, runners. Those are not my kind of people. Who ran the greatest distance? Okay, so Kenny ran 2 7/10ths of a mile. Jeanette ran 2 37/100ths of a mile. Maria ran 2 3/10ths of a mile. And Bobby ran 2 7/100ths of a mile. Well, who ran the furthest? Well, in order to do that, we have to compare all of these numbers. And this is what I like to do first. I have 4 people, right? So I'm going to have 4 decimals. And watch. I'm just lining those decimals up right now. That's it. And now I'm just going to fill in. Kenny was 2 7/10ths. So the 2 is the whole number. That comes before. And the 7 comes after the decimal. Jeanette was 2 37/100ths. So that 2 is my whole number before the decimal. And then 37/100ths. Maria was 2, that whole number before the decimal, and 3/10ths. Bobby was 2 7/100ths. Now, did you see how I lined my place values up? I've got my 1s, my 10ths, and my 100ths. All you need to do is go place value by place value and spot the difference. Well, look at our 1s place value. They're all 2s. I don't have any different there. But look at our 10ths place value. We have some differences. We have a 7, 2 3s, and a 0. Well, what one's greater? Yeah, that's easy. We know it's the 7. So you're going to have to decide who was it that ran 2 7/10ths of a mile. Number 6. Viola read 765 pages over the summer. She read 5 times as many pages over summer break as she read over winter break. How many pages did Viola read over winter break? Well, I'll tell you what I like to do to solve this problem. Is if I know she read 5 times more, I know that I'm going to be multiplying. But you might think, oh yeah, 765 times 5. That's not what it asked. It said how many pages did she read over winter break. If she read 5 times as many over summer, we know that number has to be less than what she read over summer. So anything that's greater than 765 is not an option for us. So we know D cannot work. So what I like to do is I like to take each one of these numbers, 143, 151, and 153, and I like to multiply it by 5. And whatever one gives me 765 is going to be my answer. So I'll do a couple with you. Okay, so let's do 143 times 5. Okay, times 5, splitting it up into my box method. Okay. All right, so I have 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 4 is 20, and 5 times 3 is 15. Well, what do I do with all those numbers? I add them up. And we're going to see if it equals 765. I get 10, 3, 4, 5. I got 50. Yep. Didn't equal 765. Can't be right. Okay, let's try 151 times 5. So 151 times 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5. Let's see what we get. 25, 5, and 5. Oh my goodness, and I did this whole problem wrong. And I just, I just realized it. Scratch that. Do not pay attention to what Mrs. Cavagnaro just did. She is rushing. She is not paying attention. She did not put this in standard expanded form like she was supposed to. Please do not make the same mistake that I just made. So let's do it again. I had A, 143, B, 153, C, 151, and D, 3,825. And I wanted to know if I multiplied each of them by 5, which one would give me 765. So let me do it the right way this time. Let's start with 143. I have 143 times 5. My goodness. 5 times 100, well that's easy. 5 times 1 is 5. Add my 200s. 5 times 40, 5 times 4 is 20. Add my 0, easy enough. 5 times 3 is 15, easy enough. I take these numbers and I add them all up. 500 plus 200 plus 15. And I get 715. Remember, I wanted 765. So I know 143 cannot be the right answer. I also know that 3,825 is not the right answer because it cannot be greater than 765. Let's try letter C, 151. So I have 100, I have 50, and I have 1 times 5. Well, we kind of already did this one. 5 times 100, we did it up there. We know it's 500. 5 times 50, well, 5 times 5 is 25. Add my 0. And 5 times 1 is 5. Take these answers, 500, 250, and 5, and I get 755. It does not equal 765, so that cannot be the right answer. So you're going to need to see, does 153 times 5 equal 765? Let's look at number 7. Which of the following represents the shaded part of the figure? I'm going to push this down so you can see a little bit, the shaded part. Well, how many tenths do we have? That means that the tenths are the rows that are filled in completely. I see 1 tenth and 2 tenths, right? And then how many hundredths do I have? Those are the solo boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what I see. I see 2 tenths and I see 6 hundredths. All right, let's look at number 8. Number 8. Number 8 says, use the models to compare the two decimals. Which statement represents the model? Well, let's look at this model. How many tenths are there shaded? There's 1, 2, 3 tenths shaded. How many tenths are shaded here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths are shaded. We know that 5 tenths is greater than 3 tenths. So, which one of these shows 5 tenths being greater than 3 tenths? Let's look at number 9. Number 9 says, Elena is putting 2/3 cup of cereal into bag for snacks. She made 12 snack bags. If she decides to put 1/3 cup of cereal in each bag instead, how many snack bags of cereal will she be able to make? Okay, so we know that's going to be 12 times 2/3. But she said she decided to split these 2/3 up into 1/3 cups. Oh my goodness. So this is going to be 1/3 and this is going to be 1/3. Wow. So I have to do 2/3 12 times, but really I have to break those 2/3 up into 1/3 each time. So there's 2/3 one time, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I've got my 12 2/3, right? I've got my 12 2/3. Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I've got to break each of them into 1/3. Whew. So that's a third, 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 that's a third. And you have to keep on going and then count. How many 1/3s do you have? You know you have 12 2/3s, but how many 1/3s do you have when you break them up? All right, number 10. Number 10. Jordan and Anaya are collecting pennies for their class fundraiser. So far, Jordan has 26 of a $100 bill, and Anaya has 9/10 of a dollar. How much more? Oh, there it is. How much more? That is always subtraction. Does Anaya have than Jordan? So Anaya has 9/10 and Jordan has 26 1/100. Okay? So we have to make sure those denominators are the same, which we have done a million times. So we know that this 9/10 is really 90 1/100 minus 26 1/100. So we have to do 90 minus 26. Get 8. 10 minus 6 is 4. 8 minus 2 is 6. We get 64. Decide which one of them is the right answer. Almost done. All right, question 11. Which decimal is more than the shaded area shown on the grid to the right? Well, let's see how many hundredths are here. Let's count them. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I see 24 hundredths. Which one of these is greater than 24 hundredths? Remember, you're going to have to line your decimals up and take a look. Now, the last problem. It wants you to find 65 hundredths on the number line. So, when you split this up, you're going to have tens, 20, you're going to have, you're going to split this up in tens, just like I did, right? So you can see right here all the way till I got to 1. Where would 65 hundredths fall? Tell me what it would fall between what two numbers.